All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for your patience while we work through some technical, not really difficulties, just the normal getting set up, doing those types of things. So, good morning, everyone. Today's session is about how we at AWS are using generative AI incorporated in our services to assist humans with work. So, I hope you're all in the right place and actually meant to come to this session today. But I am Steve Rothfeld. I'm a senior QuickSight specialist with AWS, and QuickSight is actually Amazon's fast and easy to use cloud-based business intelligence tool. And today we're going to be using that as an example to show you how we've incorporated generative AI into a service to assist our customers with their work. One of the reasons we went this route is we're having so many conversations with our customers, especially since ChatGPT came out, right? Generative AI is kind of the hot topic. So what we did was we incorporated it into a business intelligence tool to help them because they kept to us with quite a few questions. And some of those questions were some concerns they had around where their data would be, how we would use their data, things like that. Would we be using their data to train our models? The answer to all of that is no, of course not. Whenever you use AWS services, your data is always going to be secure. And so inevitably, the next question that they ask us is, well, then how do we get started? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so our agenda today, first off, we're going to talk a little bit about what generative AI is. We're going to get on the same page, make sure we all know what we're talking about. Talk a little bit about some common use cases. And then we're actually going to see a demo. I'm actually going to show you real live how we've actually incorporated generative AI in a BI tool. And you may have noticed up there, it's a Gen BI demo. It's because AI and a BI tool, and we're very creative people, so we call it Gen BI. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how AWS can actually help. And so before we get started, though, I was just curious, with the proliferation of data that's happening here, just wondering, show of hands, anybody in this room a little overwhelmed at times with the amount of data that they have to manage? Yep, well, more hands than I thought would go up. Yeah, people actually admit it. All right. Yeah, and so that's what a lot of our customers come to us with is we have so much data, it's become so siloed. How do we manage it? How do we actually not only find the right data, but find the insights from that data that are going to help us make the correct, informed business decisions? And so as we have these conversations with our customers, we're realizing that a lot of times what happens is they're trying to fix this problem of siloed data by buying more technology. And actually Forbes and Gartner did a study on this and found that the average number of BI and reporting tools owned by corporations and organizations in the United States today is 4. And so what that does is that creates even more siloed and divided information. And really, at the end of the day, it's never been more important to be a data-driven organization. With all this information we have, what our customers are coming to us for is, how do we get to it? How do we get those insights? Because those same studies that Forbes and Gartner did showed that only about 20% of decision makers are actually using data today to make their day-to-day decisions. So how do we help break down those silos, right? So how do we use the innovations that we have in order to assist our customers with getting to those insights? And so generative AI is one way incorporated into the business intelligence tools that we have. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to that, I thought we'd just talk real quick about what is generative artificial intelligence, right? And so the clue is right in the name, right? Generative. So it's the ability to create new content and ideas And so when we're talking about content and ideas, we're talking about things like conversations, stories, images, videos. It can even create music. There's all sorts of things that generative AI can assist us with, right, and create. Now, like all other AI, these generative AI is actually powered by machine learning models. And these models are actually quite huge. The models that are used for generative AI are trained on a huge corpora of data and with tens of billions, actually hundreds of billions of parameters and variables. And so when you start to think about that and think about how much time that would take, how much money it would take to actually train these models to get it to a point where it's working the way it is today, that could be years and years, right? Billions of dollars. And so how do our customers start to use that? Because most of our customers don't have a team of data scientists in 3 to 5 years and a couple of $1 billion to train a model, right? So today, one of the reasons this is so popular and such a hot topic is there are models available that our customers can use, everybody in this room can use, with a much smaller amount of data to customize them to your domain and have them do work for you. And one of the things, the reasons that these models are so popular now is because of the advancements in technology, they can do multiple things. Used to be the models could just do one thing, but now you can have one model and give it a different set of instructions and have every department in your organization use the same model and customize it quite easily. And so we're going to show you one example of how to do that today with QuickSight when we get to the demonstration portion of it. But one thing I did want to point out is this technology isn't necessarily new. We started back in the 1950s really developing it, which, you know, when you think about it, is quite impressive. I mean, it's taken this long to get generative AI to a place where we're working with it. Really in 2017 when they started, came out with Transformers, and then just recently with ChatGPT, did it hit our consumers. And at that point, we really kind of came to a tipping point of where we have the technological advances. The internet really fueled us with the data we needed to train the myriad of different models out there. And now we have applicable use cases as well. So we're kind of at this tipping point where it actually makes sense for generative AI to be a part of our daily lives. And so some of the use cases that we see when we're talking with our customers are pretty vast. And, you know, to be honest, a lot of times before we even get to the point of offering a solution, what we do is we kind of meet with our customers, make sure we work backward with them. And a lot of times, generative AI isn't exactly the correct fit. There's other models. So our account team will work with you, identify your use case, work backward, and identify a proper solution for you. If it is generative AI, then we have plenty of different use cases that we are currently working on that we can speak to. Text extraction is one of them. I'm actually going to show you an example of Q&A today. Paraphrasing and rephrasing, we're going to show you how you can use generative AI to do that as well. Code generation, image generation, a lot of these. We are working very closely with our customers. And so, you know, when we talk about our customers in the public sector, especially in education, we've seen some use cases around flashcard generation and accessibility. But before we move on to some of the other use cases, I was just curious, has anyone in the room started to use generative AI in any of their daily work life? Yeah. Anybody comfortable with sharing what you've been doing with generative AI? And if not, that's okay. Oh, sure.
Business analysts say use it all the time using that context. To say, I'm approaching this project, what do I need to consider? Or if I don't understand the technology that is being that I'm approaching for the project that's new to me,
Mm-hmm.
then I research the technology on it and ask them
Right.
And I use it all. I use it for organizing, stuff like if I'm gonna need a new template for something, I'll say I need a new template for this, I need to include this, I need it to break out things a certain way. I'll just say,
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Before Gen AI, how did you do all that? I mean, and
I Google searched a lot of things and then just combined what I found to make it work for myself.
yeah.
It
So,
will be faster. I get there faster.
right. It accelerates the work you're already doing, right?
And my learning curve.
And your learning curve. No, that's fantastic. And that's exactly the use case. So, broad, general world, accelerating use case, assisting humans with doing work, right? That's really what we're going for. Anyone else have a use case they'd like to share? Yes, ma'am.
Even to get started with something, sometimes you have something in your mind and you want to implement it, but you're like that brain power that you need to get started.
Yeah.
I think it helps with that a lot. Because you just put in your ideas and it brings out all sort of things and then it just gets you going
Yep.
where you're trying to go.
It gives you a starting point, right? Yeah, as humans, sometimes we need a little kickstart, right? And so generative AI is really, really great for that. Sir, you had your hand up as well. No, I'd love to hear your use case.
Yeah, we're doing log analysis,
Mhm.
anomaly detections, applying AI to look at forecasts or trends, and then it detects anomalies or outlier detection.
Yeah.
Also, assistant AI to construct queries in Word.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that plain language, I'm looking for this, this, and that, and it will write the query for you. And if you have a really complex query, you pump it in and then it breaks it down just regular language for you.
Yeah. I actually use it for that too. And I'm going to show you an example of how we've incorporated that into our BI tool. I have with me today my solutions architect. His name is Raj. He's a senior QuickSight solutions architect. So usually when we get to the portion of demos and people start asking me hard questions, I go to Raj. But especially when we start talking about calculated fields, I always used to, hey, Raj, why don't you take this part? But one of the things we've done with generative AI is enable our customers just in plain language to type in what they're looking for, what they're trying to do, and it generates the syntax for us. And so for people like me, it's fantastic because I never would have got there on my own. That's great. Thank you all very much for sharing those use cases. I think it's great. And so some of the other use cases that we work with our customers on are vast, right? I mean, we have a very large array of customers. So we have helped them with chatbots that help or enhance the customer experience, summarizations. We talked about boosting employee productivity, right? Giving us that starting point. Things like that, writing, media, and improving overall business operations. And so now we get to the part where we ask the question, how do we really assist our customers with accelerating their use of generative AI, right? A lot of our customers have asked, hey, these large language models seem very complicated. Is there a way just to incorporate it into an existing service that we can start to use today? So the answer is yes. We've done that with Amazon QuickSight. And so before we get to the demo portion, just thought I would introduce QuickSight to everyone here. Not that I don't think you know what a business intelligence or a BI tool is, but I just thought before we got and showed ours, I would give you some of the highlights of it. So, but yes, Amazon QuickSight, we are a cloud-based, serverless, fully managed business intelligence tool. We've been incorporating AI and ML for many years now. So we do things right out of the box. We provide AI ML forecasting, for instance, anomaly detection, text generation in the form of natural language narratives right out of the box that assist our customers in translating the insights that they're trying to convey through a dashboard to the people they're trying to get those insights to. And of course, with QuickSight, as you're building these dashboards, you can use this. A lot of our customers actually use QuickSight dashboards internally But QuickSight was actually built to be embedded, and so you can embed QuickSight dashboards into your websites, your portals, or even your applications. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about how many different BI tools our customers have right now. And one of the ways that we've tried to help them in reducing the number of tools that they have is by including a feature-rich scenario for them. So we released paginated reporting last year, and this allows our customers not only to create interactive dashboards, but also highly formatted, customized reports as well. So a little bit about Amazon QuickSight, and one of the reasons that so many of our customers have started to use QuickSight, over 130,000 customers, different organizations and customers using it. So now let's get to the fun part, the part where we're actually going to show you how we've incorporated generative AI into the tool itself. And so here we have our happy little AI bots, and you know, we'd like them to do some work for us, and they actually want to do some work for us. But before we get there, I think it's a good idea to kind of talk about what they're good at and maybe what some other solutions might be a little bit better for. So we talked about this, you know, getting started, having a starting point, getting some broad world knowledge and assisting humans with work is really where large language models shine and where Gen AI is best used for. If you are looking for a solution that can be used autonomously, where you can just set it off to do your work, especially if you're looking for calculations, one of the things we've learned is that large language models really aren't good at math. So if you're looking for an autonomous solution to do calculations for you, look elsewhere. That is not exactly what large language models can do for you. But what they can do, and what they're really good at, is Q&A. We talked a little bit about that earlier with some of the use cases that we have. And so I'm going to demonstrate a really great use case for you today, show you how we incorporate generative AI in our feature called QuickSight Q to allow our customers to not only ask questions and get a visual response back, but we can do forecasting and some light data analysis in it as well. Then we're going to move on, and we are actually going to create a dashboard from scratch by using natural language. We're just going to type in what we're trying to do, and the visuals are going to be created. Once we do that, we are going to do the calculations that we talked about as well, and then we're going to also kind of revamp the dashboard as well. But then, after that, one of the biggest requests we get is, hey, you know, when I send a dashboard out, a lot of times, even though I work days or weeks on it, work really hard, the first thing that happens is somebody asks me a question. They said, what am I looking at? It would be great if we could provide some sort of story that goes along with the dashboard, some sort of summarization, so that we can ensure that when we send that dashboard out to the people we intend to, they're actually getting the insights that we're trying to convey. I'm going to show you how we can do that as well. And so I am going to stop sharing here for one moment. Okay. Even though I sell technology, yes, sometimes it can give us all a little bit of trouble. And so the first part of the demonstration that I'm going to show you involves a student enrollment dashboard. And so this is the Q&A part that we'll be talking about here. And so what I'm going to showcase here is QuickSight Q. Give me 1 second. And so here we have kind of a typical student enrollment dashboard here. You can see that I can come in and interact with it. I can look at my student cohort and major. I can see where my students are coming from. And then I even have a quarterly enrollment trend analysis down here. But again, maybe I have some questions that go beyond this dashboard. And typically what happens is when people have questions, they submit a ticket, send an email to the people who built it right, and when those people are able to get around to it, that modification is made or the visual is built. Well, what we've enabled now is an immediate response for our customers. So for instance, if I came in here and I said, okay, I've got my students, I can see where all my students from the United States are coming from, but what if I want to see internationally? And so I can type in, just show me students by country. And now I get a visual response back immediately. So I don't have to contact anyone. I get that response immediately. And now I have my quarterly enrollment trend, but what if I want my yearly enrollment trend? And even if QuickSight doesn't return the exact visual you're looking for at first, you can go ahead and make modifications and pick the visual you want. And you can see here, I'm looking at my yearly enrollment trend, and right away we can see, well, there was a big dip in enrollment from 2020 to 2021. We know that COVID played a big part in that, right? But what if there were some other factors that we're not, thinking of right off the top of our head? So now we can come in and we can ask a why question and do a light analysis of the data. So I can ask, whoops. It's so much harder with one hand. So why did enrollment decrease in 2021? And now instead of a visual response, what I'm going to get back is a contribution analysis. And this is going to return the analysis with the top 4 key drivers and the contributing factors. So again, I can do a light analysis into my data. So we know COVID's a factor, but here we have, enrollment from Pennsylvania decreased for some reason. Well, maybe we need to dig in and understand why. And then we didn't see student classification here. Maybe I want to dig into that a little bit as well. So just because it returned the top 4 doesn't mean that's all you get. You can dig deeper into your data as well. And so now I can see from my student classification that juniors, for some reason, decreased by 75%. So we probably need to dig into that a little bit more. So now that I have that contribution analysis, maybe I can go ahead and create a forecast of enrollment that I need to get off to our university president. And so now I can ask it to forecast student enrollment by quarter. And if I'd like, I can go ahead and make modifications to that as well. It returned 14 quarters. Maybe I just need a year. So we'll go ahead, make that modification. And I know I'm going to be coming back to this forecast. So I'll probably want to go ahead and add this to my Pinboard. So now I don't have to keep coming back and asking this question over and over again. I have actually saved this visual on my Pinboard, and I have that anytime I want. Additionally, I can share this with others. So for instance, I can share this visual with my team. Maybe we need to put this in a report and send it off. So let me pause here. I know we covered quite a bit so far. Let me pause here before we get into the next part to see if we have any questions. Yep.
Can the dashboard developers see the types of questions that like user asks?
Yeah, and two things about that. Q can actually be independent of dashboards, so it doesn't need to be tied to a dashboard. But yes, all the questions and answers are recorded. So what that does is it really gives the developers the chance to look around corners a little bit as well, right? Make sure that they're understanding what their customers need, what's being answered properly, what isn't, and then, maybe what the next dashboard should look like based on those questions. So yes, you do get to see all of those. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What level of action has the other insights that been made that
Oh my goodness, Raj. See, hard questions go to Raj. Yeah, that's actually part of the process. Sorry, Raj, I have the microphone. I do this to him all the time. That's actually part of the process. So we expect that, the first couple of go-arounds that the questions might not all be answered correctly. So that's why the developers get that author view is really what it is, to see that, hey, we didn't set these synonyms up correctly in the data because it's not being answered correctly. So there's a bit of an iterative process to go through. We recommend that our customers kind of start off with a smaller POC and then develop the model and then go out to a larger group for that reason. Any other questions? Oh, yes? It'll get, a window will pop up and ask, did you mean? And so, yeah, if the data doesn't support it, then of course we can't provide an answer, right? So. That will go back to the developer as well. So they can see that you've asked the question, but we didn't have the data to support the answer. So that's one of the benefits of it. So now maybe they need to develop a dashboard for financial aid or another tab in this dashboard that addresses those questions. Yeah. Yes.
First of all, I'm really thrilled to see all the automation going on, because as an analyst myself, I used to put a lot of work creating those charts. Well, the next question is, for example, this prediction, I was wondering if with writing and prediction, and what kind of models they're using, if that would be like very beneficial for us.
To learn how it works. Yeah, so, and we can have these deeper technical discussions. We're happy to set them up. Some of it is, I'll be quite honest, some of it's kind of a little bit of our secret sauce, because it took about 30 data scientists 3 years to develop this. So not easy, not quick, and not cheap. So we will answer those questions to a certain extent. But this actually happens to be a patented process. But again, Raj and I routinely set up technical discussions with the PM team at AWS, and we're happy to delve into the back end of this as much as we can.
Because we all know that LLMs are like black.
Yep.
But we all want to.
Yeah, right. No, totally understand. And we, again, we're available for those discussions. And so, yes. No. And I'm about to show you the next iteration of where we're going with Q. Because what we've done in this process is we've automated it to a certain extent. We've created a back-end wizard that walks you through the process of setting up your synonyms, iterating with your data, training your data. But this next part I'm going to show you really takes the need for training and data scientists, not fully out of it, but as we've been talking about, it really helps the layperson, like salespeople, get started and do some really complicated things that maybe we couldn't do before. And so, let me, whoops. Okay. I am going to stop sharing again for 1 second. Apologies, this whole one-handed thing is getting me. Okay. So now what we're about to take a look is we've incorporated generative AI into QuickSight in order to author dashboards. And so this first part here is showing how we can build dashboards and interactive visuals from scratch. So if you see in the upper, so if you see up top here, it says instead of asking Q a question, now we're asking Q to build a visual. And as soon as we click on the generative visual builder, what it does is it scans our data. And so if you see over here on the right-hand side, it actually comes up with some suggestions as to how we can get started building visuals. But we know exactly what we want to do anyway, so we're going to go ahead and just type in monthly sales and profit. And you'll have to play along with me a little bit here because this is, what I'm showing you here is in preview. You can actually get a free trial of QuickSight today with this preview. But as we're getting ready to roll this out, we don't have every use case built out just yet. So while with Q, I was able to show an education-based example, with this, what we're showing is a sales, how to build a sales dashboard with the intent of, and what we want to convey to our team, is how we can convert people who are using free trials into paid users to boost sales. That's the entire intent of this dashboard. And so we're starting off with monthly sales and profit. Again, not exactly what we want. So we're going to change that visual and add a forecast. And you can see here in just a couple of seconds, no training needed. We're just typing in exactly what we're trying to do. We're going to build another visual here. It's going to be geolocation. So of course it's going to give us a map. And now we can add that as well. And so we'll add another one here. This is, we're going to convert this into a Sankey diagram. And you can see it's just as interactive as if we did this by, from scratch. And so again, we've got 3 visuals built here on our sales dashboard in the matter of seconds, just by typing in what we're trying to do. And so Q is able to generate those visuals for us. Now, we talked about calculations earlier, right? What we need to do here is show the percentage of free trials converted. Well, we don't have that field available to us, so we actually have to create it. And now, what we're going to do is go in and create a calculated field here, and we're going to just say we need a calculated field that's showing us month over month % free trials. And the syntax is generated for us. And so now we add it into our fields, and we can use that to go ahead and build a visual. And so here we are. We have built our visual. Not only have we created the calculated field, we've built a visual using that calculated field. Again, didn't take us very long at all, just a few seconds. But now we'd like to make changes to this. This visual isn't exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to go ahead and type in what we are looking for. We want to change the granularity of this. We want to add color by region and the chart, and we want to change the chart type. So we type that in, and just that easy, we have made changes to our visuals, and now we have a dashboard that's ready to go that shows month over month free trials. Now, the question is, if we were to send this dashboard out to everybody who needed this information, would everybody get that? Would everybody get, nope, head shaking already, right? Would everybody get the message that we're trying to convey to them? Probably not. We get a lot of questions, right? And so this next part is not in preview just yet. Just to let everybody know, this will be coming soon. We expect this part that we call stories to be in preview early 2024. But again, we want to make sure that everybody's getting the insights they need. So just using natural language again, we're going to type in, build a story that shows how we can increase the number of free trial to paid customers so we can boost sales. And it's using our data to build out this story. And you can see here, we have our title there that describes exactly what it is. If you look through this introduction here, you can see it's actually using our data. It included visuals as well to support the data that's in the paragraph. We have insights into why users don't convert. And that's using our data. And then down below, we have our recommendations. The recommendations here is to bundle features. However, we don't have a visual that goes along with this, so we actually have editing rights, of course. And this goes back to, again, the point that we were trying to make about assisting humans with work. We don't want this to be autonomous, right? So this report shouldn't just automatically go out to anyone. We should review it, make sure it's correct, make the necessary adjustments to it. Like next steps, for instance. Our next steps here are in a paragraph format. We thought it'd be better received in bullets, so we have editing rights. We'll go ahead, reconfigure this to bullet format. And once we've done that, we click keep, and our report's ready to go. So now, in just a few minutes, we have created a dashboard and a report using generative AI as an assistant to us. We still have editing rights, but now we can get that off to the people we need to. So any questions? You're all so impressed, you're just speechless. Well, fantastic. So, as I mentioned, the authoring capability, that's available today. If you'd like to start a free trial of QuickSight, you can start to use that today. The stories portion is going to be out a little bit later, most likely Q1. And so, let's... But I think that's the question we get the most, is how do we get started using AI, right? How do we just take that first step? And so, again, if you're looking to use a BI tool or QuickSight, it's built right in. And with a very small amount of your data, you can get started doing exactly what I just showed you, starting to build visuals that are specific to your use case and then build stories around those for your internal or external customers. But of course, with AWS, we have end-to-end solutions for all of your data needs. You have your ASU account team here today as well. So Lorena Costanza is back there. She is, and Didia Chala is here too. Yep. And so, and so if you need any help getting started, these are the people to talk to. Again, they will sit down, identify use cases with you, and discuss the best solutions, because in addition to the generative AI that we have in Amazon QuickSight, we also have LLMs available in our generative AI environment called Bedrock. Several different LLMs available for use so that you can customize a solution for your use case. And then, of course, we have, oh, I'm sorry, there's a question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, does Q support speech to text?
Not yet, but that is coming. That is, I mean, Amazon Alexa, you would figure we have that built in already, but yeah, that is coming on the roadmap. So we should be seeing that soon. Exactly why I bring Raj. Yes. With 30 days. And sorry, was there another question? No?
For folks just that, if you're interested in using this from the ET side, we work closely with our AWS partners. We've got sandboxes where we've worked on some of these things, so that's another resource is working with us, and we can kind of guide around this. Obviously, there's access to data, right? How do things connect? It's not as easy as pointing at data if you're talking about student data in certain areas. So please, we're a resource as well, and we work closely with our AWS partners.
Yeah.
We also cover the actual proof of concept ourselves, so if there's credits involved, that's free of charge,
For a certain amount of time, right, Lorena? Yeah. All right. Well, the point is, we are here to help. We're here to help you get started using generative AI, and generative AI, again, is here to help us do work. So if you are interested in learning more about QuickSight, we have a public website called Demo Central. You can access it and play around with it online. And then we also have a blog post around what we're doing with generative AI as well. But really, for additional questions, any use cases, please feel free to reach out to your AWS team. We really are here to help. And so happy to answer any other questions that you may have. And if not, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.